Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. What a pro wrestling show we have for you. And this is the man of the hour right here. Seth Rollins made somewhat as a babyface run in a way. Seth Rollins leaving Raw tonight, still with his United States Championship intact. We'll talk about who does Seth beat. Plus, two, Lashley is angry as well. And Lashley taking out his frustrations on anybody and anyone. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, too, we know that the Judgment Day has been playing the odds against the OC with Rhea Ripley in the corner. But Rhea Ripley now has a problem that she didn't suspect came back. This woman right here. We'll talk about who she is and a lot else. Also, too, the Monster Among Man, Braun Strowman, makes a stupid comment about his match against Almost at Crown Jewel. We'll talk about that. A lot more stuff going on as well in the hot topics. We'll talk about and you see right here, Austin Theory challenging Shelton Benjamin. A lot more stuff. This pro wrestling show begins right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kenny Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show as we get to the latest on what's going on tonight's Raw. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Miss Karen. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We got a lot to get to tonight, so we're gonna kick things off with this: the undisputed tag team champions, the Usos, making their rare appearance on Raw, along with their brother Sora Sakai, who made an appearance. We know the Usos coming up this Friday on SmackDown will put the tag team titles on the line against this team, the New Day, who made a rare appearance as well. The New Day making an appearance back on Raw, the New Day back into full effect. We know New Day and the Usos has a lot of history. We can go date back to like at least 5 years ago on SmackDown. Now they bringing it back 5 years later. We know that the Usos want to surpass the New Day. In order to do so, they have to take on New Day, and once they beat them, they could be surpassing New Day as one of the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, closer to Demolition's record. But the Usos proven to be a top commodity in WWE. Um, like I say, they probably will do it this Friday on SmackDown. Look for that. Also, too, um, Matt Riddle made a rare appearance trying to play with his bongos, if you know what I mean with that. I don't know why he did that. Well, we know the Usos and Riddle went against the New Day, and the Bloodline. I meant to say the Bloodline went against the New Day, but the Bloodline continued to dominate and dominate strong. The Bloodline heading towards momentum for Friday on SmackDown when the Usos defend the tag team championships against the New Day for the tag team title. Look forward to seeing that. We'll have full results of that coming up on the SmackDown Ring Report this Friday. So we kind of got an idea, but we still want to make certain and sure. So we'll see that. Speaking of factions, this faction right here, the Judgment Day. Well, Seth Rollins. We'll get to him first. Seth Rollins said that he's going to issue a open challenge for the U.S. title. And he had said anyone can challenge. Well, we know that the OC in the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and AJ Styles in particular, want that U.S. title. AJ's a former U.S. champion. Don't know about Finn Balor. No, Finn's a former Intercontinental champion. So Finn wants the championship as well. So Finn wants that title to be prestigious to him. We know that no one couldn't accept, but um the Judgment Day, we thought that they had the numbers game with the OC and stuff. They could have beaten up the OC left and right. This is from Crown Jewel from the previous night, this past Saturday. As you see, on the Judgment Day merged victorious with the help of Rhea Ripley. Judgment Day become a stronger force and stronger unit. A lot of people thinking with War Games surrounded by the Judgment Day and the OC, I believe not. It's going to be a traditional Survivor Series match between these four teams, these two teams, I meant to say, with bad blood. Well, the OC figure out how to combat the Rhea Ripley problem. The OC knows that Rhea Ripley is a difference maker, and the OC believes that Rhea Ripley needs to be stopped. They got one baddie. The HBIC, Mia Yim returned to Raw. Mia Yim helped to become the solution to their answer for Rhea Ripley, taking Rhea Ripley down, leaving her down and out. I mean, we just had to see, but like I said, Rhea Ripley, um, the Judgment Day, we'll see. But Rhea Ripley, like I said, she got a lot of problems on her hands. She got to take care of Mia Yim. Mia Yim's back in effect. Mia Yim playing disguise and got her hands on Rhea Ripley. So kudos to her on that. Also, too, there's a lot of factions going on. JBL in the corner of his protege, Baron Corbin, who acts just like him. Well, Baron Corbin went against Cedric Alexander in a impromptu match. JBL was on commentary. JBL striking down the attributes of Baron Corbin, saying Baron Corbin will be a future world champion. Corbin did what he can do, but like I said, JBL playing the difference maker in that match. And JBL is a great mouthpiece. Don't get me wrong on that. So we'll just have to wait and see what JBL has in store for Baron Corbin, what Baron Corbin and JBL have in store for each other. Speaking of that, if we can get okay. Austin Theory, the Money in the Bank holder, we'll talk about a little bit later, went down with him. He gets punked out by Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin almost half his age. He calls out Shelton Benjamin to a match, and Shelton Benjamin is a sip. So Theory and Benjamin had their match, and what a match it was. Theory getting the win over Shelton Benjamin. Theory trying to prove his dominance in the ring. So Austin Theory gets the win over Shelton Benjamin. Wasn't nothing but nothing but that. But Theory, you can tell right here, Theory a future champion one way or another. Got a win over Theory over Benjamin earlier tonight. But we'll talk about a little bit later what Theory did to at the end that would cause a ruckus. Now we know that Mia Yim is in the fray. Mia Yim saying that she's here to combat Rhea Ripley. She's gonna do so sooner rather than later. So Rhea Ripley had a backstage segment to give herself a little bit of airtime on why she did what she did. Also, too, this match right here, Otis took on Elias in a squash match. Otis and Elias, both men, was no mismatch. Otis won with his strength. With that, Otis gets the win over Elias. This is far from over, I guess. We'll see how this is all gonna play out eventually. Also, too, we did talk about Real Rip with me and Yum making an impact. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. Speaking of Impact, Damage Control recruiting Nikki Cross. Now we know that Nikki Cross and Damage Control are siding together. They'll be siding as Bayley laid out the match that she wants a match against Bianca Belair, her girl group, her girl team at Survivor Series in female war games and women's war games. So we'll get the first women's war games, Team Bianca versus Team Bayley. And Nikki Cross won the 24/7 championship. Nikki Cross also had the belt and threw the championship in the trash, which I guess the championship doesn't mean nothing no more unless somebody goes in that trash can and picks it out. But Nikki Cross, as you see right here, this is the graphic. Female War Games, 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Damage Control, Nikki Cross, and who else that Damage Control picks to take on Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. Many people could be speculating that Sasha Banks and Naomi could be returning at Survivor Series to even up the odds. So, like I said, Bayley and speaking of Bayley and Sasha, Bayley and Bianca. Bayley and Bianca had that match for a last woman standing match. Bianca emerged victorious. Bianca Belair saying that she was the last woman standing in her match. So, Bianca Belair did. Speaking of that, Damage Control was also there too. They was regained their tag team championships away from Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Alexa Bliss looked at that fiend sign. They won tag team champions for that long. So we know right now, this is the match right here at Survivor Series. 5-on-5 Survivor Series Team Damage Control versus Team Bianca. We see Nikki Cross, Iro Sky, and Dakota Kai and Bayley, and a mystery partner of their choosing, taking on Team Bianca, including Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka, and two other women who could be, I believe, could be Sasha Banks and Naomi, allegedly. But we could see that. So we'll see. Speaking of that, The Miz being called out by Johnny Gargano as he got blackmailed by Gargano after making a deal with Dexter Lumis to stalk him and do what he needed to do. Well, it wasn't the case. Miz had got attacked for his troubles. Miz got pinned Johnny Gargano to get the win, but got attacked with a steel chair by Dexter Lumis over his payments. So, see how that went. And also too, well, we saw that. We saw Bianca Belair, we talked about that. Them winning. Also too, Logan Paul did impressive at his Crown Jewel event. A lot of people are talking about Logan Paul, so we'll talk about that later on in the Hot Topics a little bit later. Also too, Bianca Belair had a stare down with Rhea Ripley. Could this be a stare down between these two women down the road? We'll see at WrestleMania. Could tell with that. So how's that going to be? So speaking of that, Bobby Lashley coming out the win, coming out the losing to Brock Lesnar in that match that was close to tied. We thought that Brock Lesnar was going to win. Well, he did win, but we thought Bobby was going to win with that full Nelson. Brock Lesnar was escaping due to the skin of his teeth to get the pin. Brock Lesnar won his match over Bobby Lashley. I think this is far from over. Bobby Lashley went to Raw and was mad than you know what. He took out his frustrations out of everybody. He tried to he took out Mustafa Ali. He tried to put up a fight. Mustafa Ali couldn't put up a fight, but he turned his target to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins in the ring, leaving Seth Rollins out there. Seth Rollins was trying to figure out who won to do the open challenge to him. Bobby Lashley destroyed everybody in sight. He destroyed Seth Rollins. He thought he was going to get the U.S. Championship match. Wasn't that to be? Bobby Lashley just taking out everybody in sight, in plain sight, until Theory. We told you earlier, Theory came out there and picked his bones and picked the spot. Thought Theory was going to get the win Theory did put up a fair fight, but at the end, Seth Rollins, with the help of Bobby Lashley, at the Theory told Lashley that he ruined it. He's trying to screw him out the U.S. title. Bobby Lashley was angry, upset. Bobby Lashley took all his frustrations out on Seth Rollins, leaving Seth Rollins out, knocking him down. I mean, Bobby Lashley was on a warpath because of what had happened to him what had happened to him on Monday on this past Saturday at the Crown Jewel event, and Bobby Lashley took it out on everyone. And Bobby Lashley making sure that he is the one that leaves with some pain. I think he thought Seth Rollins was still Brock Lesnar. That wasn't the case, but it didn't turn out to be. But Seth Rollins get the win over Austin Theory. And Seth Rollins emerged victorious over Austin Theory after Austin Theory tried to cash in his briefcase. He couldn't. I say this. He tried to cash kind of shocking when you think about it and you kind of look and see like, damn, Seth Rollins kind of knew what to do and he kind of picked his spots and stuff and kind of shocked at that because you never would thought Seth Rollins was a babyface. He did mention, which was kind of like in a babyface promo, that he was celebrating 10 years as being on the WWE main roster for 10 years in his craft. I think Seth Rollins kind of proving all the naysayers wrong because originally he was supposed to go to TNA, and thank God he didn't. And Jim Cornette was the one that persuaded him to not do so. But the real loser of this is Theory. Theory kind of, we thought he had his night showcase. I'm thinking like you won the Money in the Bank, and now, I mean, it don't make no sense to me that that time when he was in Money in the Bank, he had won it. He lost the U.S. Championship, and he was trying to we were trying to tease that he was going for the World Championship on many occasions with Roman Reigns. I bet been over and over that Bobby Lashley somewhere around to get he want his time back somewhere somehow. So we'll see coming forward. But that was your Raw Ring report. Let's move forward to wrestling hot topics. All right, on wrestling hot topics. Um, we can tell you this that Nick Aldis, the former NWA World Champion, has wants his he wants to be released from the NWA, but we had got a report from the NWA commentator Joe Gallo, who's the COO as well, saying that Nick Aldis has been suspended. So I mean, this has got weirder and weirder. Nick Aldis suspended, former world champion. He felt like the NWA is going a different direction, and saying too that his wife, how she was being mistreated. So we're hearing a lot of reports. Nick Aldis, if he does become a free agent when his contract is coming up, where do you want to see Nick Aldis? Do you want to see him in WWE or in AEW? And I'm kind of like, I mean, a talent like that you don't get. He's sort of like a generational talent, and you got Mickey James as well. So I really don't know. I mean, he's a former, like they said, the NWA wished him a happy birthday. I don't know why they did that, but um, we'll have to wait and see. I think he probably fit in WWE if given the opportunity. But he's been talking about some bad politics in WWE. Who knows about AEW? Who knows? Who knows? If you do go either, I see him either or. But I kind of see him in AEW in a way. But we'll have to wait and see on that and see how it's gonna play out. Well, we can tell you this: former WWE CEO Vince McMahon was spotted in dinner with a female companion, Miss McMahon, looking all got his hair dyed. Vince McMahon, the former CEO of WWE, look like he got his face nip tucked too. Vince McMahon. And now they talking jokes like Vince McMahon, Dixie Carter. I know. They need to stop, but who knows? But it's kind of weird as well, but you never know. Plus, too, speaking of Vince McMahon, the show he created, Raw. This is the logo right here for Raw. Raw is 30. So they want to go back. Raw is going to turn 30 years old. Raw brand seen a lot. So we'll see how Raw would do. Turn 30 years old. Interesting. We'll see how this all will evolve and what kind of special surprises and guesses we'll see. Speaking of that, if we can show this, if we can get this, this is what Braun Strowman had wrote. Uh, Braun Strowman wrote this, but this was Chris Jericho had said. Braun Strowman went on Twitter and said that his match against Almas gave him 4.5, 47.5 stars, and a lot of people were angry at the Monster Among Men for comparing his match against Almas, saying that aerial people, luchadors, and stuff don't matter when them big guys. Braun Strowman had a phenomenal match. Don't question about it. But him doubting other people was wrong, and a lot of the podcasters saying that Braun was insecure. He felt some type of way. The Monster Among Men trying to build his ego up, which he has. He has a massive ego, but it's sort of like, just say you had a good match and leave it like that. But Braun Strowman couldn't do that. He had to play needle and see how far he can go. Well, like I said, Braun Strowman doesn't know his own beat, but we know Mustafa Ali had something to say about it. A lot of people had something to say about it, and they didn't hold back whatsoever. So hey, it is what it is. Also, too, Otis, the from American Alpha, saying that he had suffered from dyslexia. Otis had read Pet Cemetery, Stephen King book, and he kind of said what the book in the mention. So Otis again, you know, So Otis reading the book. So congratulations to Otis for reading. Ain't nothing wrong to learn to read and be able to read and educate yourself, and I can more power to Otis on that. Also, too, we know SmackDown will have a World Cup. We don't know what the details is. All we know is SmackDown will have a World Cup. We don't know what the winner gets, who's in the tournament, and how this tournament was going to play out and stuff. Who's stuff like that. We have to wait and see or hear from WWE.com or they Twitter or whatever digital handles to see. So we'll see on that one. Also, too, Natalya showing that she had suffered a broken nose. Natalya doing okay. So all wishes well to Natalya on her speedy recovery. Plus, too, Bret the Hitman Hart sharing a carpool ride with Mick Foley. The Hitman and the two former WWE champions shared a carpool ride, talking about stores. We don't know what this might be, but I'm interested to see if you go on roll stores with them two. They'll tell you a lot about the wrestling business and how it is. Now we know that Logan Paul, Logan Paul had that tremendous match at Crown Jewel. This is his third match being that Logan Paul shocked the world. Logan Paul had 40 million views, and I guess that's what they do with the most views. Had the top rope view as the most viewed social media clip of 2022, and the year is not almost ain't over yet. Logan Paul also too. A lot of people are saying Logan Paul should be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. I mean, you really have 3 matches and stuff, and so hey, some WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Crown Jewel, why not? So hey, congrats to Logan Paul. Also, too, Tegan Knox. He's talking about bringing her back, as well as Mia Yim. We saw Mia Yim earlier tonight, returning to help combat the damage, not damage, but the OC with the Judgment Day with Rhea Ripley and her crew. Mia Yim back, but you got to wonder like who is sending WWE, who is sending this to WWE, who is getting information from WWE about folks returning. That's kind of interesting to know. Is someone's leaking this information or what? Because Tegan Knox coming back. If they've been talking about bringing her back, they've been bring back a lot of people. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Also, too, Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks made a rare appearance. Nick Jackson coming back along with his brother made a rare appearance for the Clippers. So how that be coming up and stuff. We'll see. And then we told you about Logan Paul and the rest of them. So and Roman Reigns with that phenomenal match, 3 matches. Rey Mysterio and the Mysterios at WrestleMania. Miz at SummerSlam and Roman Reigns. And Logan Paul keeps on doing what he's doing. It's just gonna get better and better. He ain't really scratched the surface yet. So congratulations to Logan Paul on that. All right, that in hot topics. Don't forget tomorrow is the NXT Ring Report. We're gonna be a little bit late and stuff for NXT Ring Report, but we'll have it for you coming up on where Von Wagner attacked Braun Breaker. What this lead to a championship match down the road? So we'll see that match as well. We're gonna leave you with this: Seth Rollins standing above, up top of Austin Theory, who was trying to attempt to cash in his briefcase for the U.S. Championship, but failed unsuccessfully. So, for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long and thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.